Hey guys, I just did the beginning of one video and that is on my ultimate survival lamp that I just got. That is on another video that will be released in 10 days. But this is one for today. Now this is one about, technically 90s kids belong, well they are the millennials, but also known as Generation Y or Gen Y, and we're here to talk about them today and why a lot of people think that this is one of the worst generations that have ever exist. But we're here to talk about that today. Now, a lot of people think that millennials, for the most part, are lazy and that they don't want to work. They think that everything should be handed to us. And I feel like a lot of that is. I don't feel like it should be. Let me. What I think a lot of that can be put up to is the increase of price of living. And a lot of kids that are getting out of high school and they're going into college, they're finding out that they just simply don't have enough money to work through college anymore. I mean, something that could be done 40 years ago simply just cannot be done anymore. Now, there's a lot of stuff in my generation that I simply don't agree with. I don't agree with new wave feminism. I think for the most part that that's not a very good idea. Because a lot of the things they talk about are things that already exist or they're just plain stupid, and we're not going to talk about that this video. Stuff like that. There's a lot of people that are anti-government. There's always been plenty of people that are anti-government, but apparently they're more vocal now, because the internet exists now, and the internet is in every aspect of our lives. And that also is a reason that 90s kids, Generation Y, millennials have a lot of, fun word here, the word of the day, nostalgia. Now, the reason that we have nostalgia already being in our teens and 20s, and some of us are now getting close to entering our 30s here, but the reason for that being is as a kid, I remember crappy video games. I remember driving around all day in this little toy red Jeep that I had that was just big enough to fit me and my brother. I remember driving around all day in that, thinking I was the coolest shit ever. I remember Game Boys that you could barely even see the screen on. I remember a whole lot of trends that just got set and broke in the course of 6 months. I can remember a lot of stuff like that. And looking at it now, I spend most of my time inside, and I spend that online. And and just seeing the world progress really quick in like 10 years. And that causes early nostalgia in us because we think back to something that seems like a long time ago because we did like 30 years of advancement in about 10 years. And that's crazy. That's a really good thing. And that's a big part on the generation behind us, Generation X. Now, a lot of people get pissy with Generation X because apparently Generation X is the reason that we can't just work our way through college anymore like they could because they did some stuff to the economy that I really don't know a whole lot about. I like politics, not too big into economics. Those things go hand in hand, but I don't. It's weird, okay? We're not going to talk about that, but. So people think that we want things handed to us. Now, I personally don't have a job because I feel like between what little social life I have and school, I don't really feel like I could place a job that well. Just because a lot of the kids that I see that do have jobs, they're working a lot. Like, I mean, I wouldn't say a lot, but like between school and this, and school is a job in itself. People can say it's not, and I know especially people that aren't in school, that are in the generation above us, like my parents' generation, Generation X, they say this stuff all the time. They're like, oh, well, Jesus Christ, you can work and go to school. I did it. And I'm like, yeah, you could, but I mean, when you put it up, that's a lot of mental stress on a generation that for some reason seems to have a whole lot of stress that I don't understand, and I don't think anyone does. I don't know why stress and suicide rates seem higher. I don't know the actual statistics, but they seem a lot fucking higher. I mean, I remember my dad had like one story of like one kid committing suicide in his high school career, and we've already, well, my class is graduating. I'm a year behind. But we've had a string of suicide attempts, and we've had 2 kids actually succeed, and a few kids that I'm fucking amazed, and I'm really happy they didn't succeed. So I'm guessing, since me and my dad come from like around the same size school, my mom never talked about anyone killing themselves. Not that I ever asked, but yeah, there's just a lot more stress for some reason, and I just don't feel like I really need a job. Part of that is, like I said, I spend all of my time here online. So I don't really need money. I don't really do anything that requires money. Normally, whenever I need money, I'm like, oh, wow, that'd be cool to buy. That's not something I need. It's stuff like, oh, wow, it'd be cool to have a new machete or a new this and that. It's just little petty stuff. So I don't really need a job. I'm not trying to save up for anything. I'm going to the military. I'm not particularly worried about college. I'll drive whenever I start driving. My family has 2 cars, so I'll drive one of the cars to school. I'm about to get my license here soon, but anyway. Yeah. They think that they want stuff handed to them, but like I said, it's stuff like you can't work your way through college anymore. A lot of kids are finding themselves that their parents aren't really in a situation to supply them with a car or really give them a whole lot of college money. I mean, you could get grants and shit and stuff, but in the end, you have to find a way to live on your own. We have a college in our town, and we have a couple other colleges around. But if you want to go to like an actual college on one of these little crappy schools, you're gonna have to move out. You're gonna have to pay for your own stuff. You're gonna have to pay for books, tuition, food, your car note probably. I mean, like your insurance probably is gonna be too much. Your parents might cover stuff like that for you. They might chip in here and there, but really, you're gonna need a job and money doesn't, like I said, money doesn't go as far as it used to. You can't really work your way through college with a working your way through college job anymore. Now, I think minimum wage is fine. I actually feel like minimum wage should be dropped another 50 cents because I don't feel like they should be earning that much for that kind of uneducated job. Then again, I understand where they're coming from, but I don't feel like it's a huge necessity. I feel like a lot of kids just aren't taking jobs that are hard. Now, I have friends that that are successfully doing school and everything because they work difficult jobs. They don't work at a fast food chain. They don't work at, well, Walmart pays a little bit better, but these guys work like construction. Like they have an actual skill. Like they're doing some more dangerous work. So they're making $15 an hour. They're making better money. Now, $15 hours is a stretch since they jump from jobs as construction workers do, but they're making around that. I mean, just to sum it up, that's around what a couple of my friends made doing that. I have friends that joined the military to help pay for school, and that on top of that being something they wanted to do with life. So I feel like minimum wage is fine where it's at, but that's where a lot of these kids are coming from. They don't want to do anything they don't want to do anything quote unquote dangerous. They don't want to join the military. So they want to be able to work through school like their parents did. Now, another thing that they talk about is apparently our generation is more explicit. Apparently, we party a lot more, we do a whole bunch more drugs, and we have sex more. Now, I wouldn't say we have sex more, because I've heard my dad's friends talking. I've heard my friends' dads talking to their friends when they're drunk, and they say some raunchy ass shit from their high school days. So, I'm just going to throw away the cussing mark right there. That's a lie. Because I've heard y'all talking, and it's about the same as a locker room. So, I'm going to go ahead and guess that it's just moms talking trash, not wanting to sound bad in front of their kids, and not wanting their kids to do bad stuff. Now, so far as drugs, I wouldn't say we're worse on drugs. I personally don't do any drugs, but I know people that do. I'm in high school, and the only problem that I see is pills are a problem. Now, the reason that I'm seeing that kids do pills is because they're fairly cheap, and apparently they work, which is what they're designed to do. I mean, I imagine it's a little better than, in the 60s when people were really into hallucinogens. I mean, I guess it's better. I don't really know. What was Generation X's thing? I don't even know a drug that really relates to the 80s. But, yeah, I don't feel like we're any worse. on sex or drugs. I feel like it's publicized more now because I said the internet. Everything is publicized more. People say that we're more violent. Yeah, the internet. Things get out quicker. You know, a fight that might have went on that only a few people heard about in high school and no one heard about from the next town over. That was a thing in the 80s because word traveled by mouth. That's the only thing you're hearing about that fight that went on, and you're definitely not going to see a video of it. Here, if I get in a fight tomorrow, someone in South Arkansas or Louisiana is going to know about it. It's that easy. Because things get recorded now. They get put on the internet. People talk about it on the internet. People are going to text their friends from the next school over that they met over the internet or that they used to go to school there, and they're going to tell them about it. Back in the 80s, someone might not have... So your buddy from the school that you left from the next town over, he might not know about it until you went to see him that weekend, and it's already been 4 days, and no one cares anymore. I mean, unless someone got, like, hospitalized or, like, badass beating, then, yeah, they're probably going to want to talk about it a little bit. They might hear about it in the news or this and that. Cousins. But you know what I mean? No one from the next state's going to know about that shit. People in Canada, people in Japan and Australia are going to see a video if I get in a fight tomorrow. It just travels quicker. That's the reason that you're seeing all this stuff. And people want to say that we're more violent. And I mean, I've heard the saying before, a teenage boy is more safe working at his local fire or police department than he is wandering around the streets bored. Because they do stupid shit. And now that the internet exists, everyone can see that stupid shit, and these kids feel like they can make a living off of it. Another part of it is there are people that are genuinely bad, and they want to... I'm talking about prank videos, like running up and pulling chairs out from behind people, smashing cartons and stuff, or tearing stuff up in Walmart. That's going to get out there because people think it's funny, and they think other people are going to think it's funny, and of course other people are. I mean, I laugh at them sometimes, I can't lie, that shit's kind of funny, but at the same time, it's annoying and trashy, but people are going to see that because they're like, oh, that's funny, it'd be cool if we put that online, and then they do, and people from the 80s see it, and they're like, oh, they're horrible kids, and I'm like, well, yeah, they probably wouldn't be doing stuff like that if it wasn't for the internet. A lot of these problems are blown out of proportion or caused because of the internet. And I wouldn't say caused, because most of them aren't. It's just, it's blown up because of this, what you're on right now. You would have to maybe look for this on TV or read a book about it. I mean, God, I would never fucking write a book, but that's how you'd have to hear me saying stuff like this, is you'd have to look it up. You'd have to find it. That's all I have to say. Is I don't really feel like we're particularly lazy. I feel like we're worried. And I don't feel like we're worse than any particular generation. I feel like there's just, you know, we do feel like we've owned something. I mean, I feel like all my dad's friends just about worked, all my parents' friends that went to college, they pretty much worked themselves through college. They did work. I mean, now given my dad did work a job in the oil field while he was in college. And that was only because he had family there and he could get a better job and he wasn't in one of the more dangerous places in the oil field. I mean, he was for a while because they wanted him to build some character that didn't take. But, yeah. I mean, my mom worked as a waitress and she worked herself for like the year of school that she took before she got pregnant with me. You can work and she just buffed tables. She was an actual waitress. Like, I don't even think she actually carried food. I think she literally just like cleaned up afterwards and carried people to their tables. And like asked them if they wanted more drinks and then told the waitress. I think that's all she really did. That's really all I have to say, is that I don't feel like kids act like they deserve more now. It's just that they deserve the same, I guess is what I'm trying to say. But the same would require more now. That's what I'm trying to get at. And I don't feel like we're worse about any explicit content. I feel like it's just showed more. I don't remember anything else I covered, and yeah, I feel like we're a little clingy of our electronics. I mean, wouldn't you be? I mean, if you knew how to work this stuff really well and you could do all these things. I mean, I know my parents would probably freak out if they could have a YouTube channel, but they don't know, not that I'm good at editing, and not that I have a really fancy editing system. It's just on my phone, but not. If you could have it, they could learn how to do this shit. My mom would be on here babbling about dumb stuff, and so would my dad. For no reason. That's what they have Facebooks for. They babble about dumb stuff. My mom finds girly girl memes. That's what they do since they learned how to do it. It took them a few years, but they got it. God forbid she learns how to. God forbid either of them learn how to use Instagram, because that's something I'm going to have to download because I don't like Instagram, so I can follow them. Because they're going to make me. My grandpa thinks video games are pretty kick-ass, but he can't learn how to play them. He said it's too intricate for him. I mean, if you can learn how to do this stuff, or if you do know how to do this stuff, chances are you do it. It's entertaining. I fucking love the internet. The internet is like my entire life. Besides, when I go to my friend's house, guess what we're doing? We're playing games on the internet. Or we're riding around. We rarely ride around because, gas and stuff. But, that's really all I have to say for this. If you like this, like, comment, subscribe. Tell your friends. My Twitter is linked down in the thing. I have a Twitter page now. For those of you that haven't saw that. You can go follow that there if you use Twitter. I don't use Twitter, so that's why I made it, so it's not another account that I have to watch. But, as always, have a great day, ladies and gentlemen of the universe. Until next time, it is the